heard something. Hmm.
Oh, new intro. I skipped a few discs. Not because it's stuff that I don't want to play, but I didn't have a subscription to this damn magazine for a long time. So I picked them up at the newsstand. And at the cost of this magazine, official US PlayStation magazine, it was an expensive way to get it. But, you know, for some damn reason, I just couldn't manage to get myself a subscription for a long time. Plus, I mean, all in all, it was an inexpensive way. It was like $7 or $8 or so per issue. Sure, it's a lot of money for a kid in the 90s and 2000s, but the cost was small in comparison to actually buying games. And these demo discs were the drip feed of games that I would get. So, I mean, it made perfect sense, even if there weren't that many good games on it. Spyro, Year of the Dragon. Weren't that many good games on it, it would still be worth getting, for me anyway. So I believe this is the second or third Spyro game that we played in this series. I know we at least played... What? The skate park? I believe the first You know what, I don't know anymore. I think this is the third Spyro game we played in this series. Spyro 1 and 2. This is definitely Spyro 3.
Spyro, I found this gladiator training arena, and it makes a pretty cool skate park. Care for a test of your...
Okay, yeah. Alright. Spyro's turned into Tony Hawk. Oh, shit, you can still shoot fire. I don't know what to do. It's got this weird, because Spyro can... Alright. Spyro can fly a little bit. Not really fly, but he can drift down, and that's carrying through with the skateboard. So, what am I supposed to do here? Just collect the jewels? We'll kill these guys. Haha, gotcha. I can't do tricks. Oh, I am supposed to take these guys out. Alright. This was definitely in the era where I would get these magazines and I would play them. But it wasn't as vital for me that I sit here and play every single demo to death like I did in the early days. Like that, especially like, say, that first demo disc that came with the console that I'd gotten. Which was, I think, the volume 3 of... Oh, it disappeared. Of the pack-in demo discs. I played that thing so much, even the games that I didn't give a damn about, I played to death, every single one of them. Then, as the years went on, oh, shit. I went and shit, yeah. I would play the demos less and less. Now, I think once I get into the PS2 demo discs, that PlayStation Magazine PS2 demo discs, that is, I'll be playing those a lot more. Like, I'll find that, like, oh yeah, I jumped into the first one that had, like, Eco in it. Played Eco a lot. At some point, I know there was one that I played with, like a Dynasty Warriors game on it. And played those to death because, it was PS2. And PS2 wasn't something that I had a lot of. Couldn't find a lot of. And PS2 games, I believe, anyway, they may have been a little bit more expensive. I think PlayStation 1 had sort of the standard tier price for a new game was $40. And then the PS2, it went up to $50, and then with like the PS360 era, it was $60, and has more or less remained that way ever since. I mean, there are some PS5 games I think are $70. But I don't have a PS5 yet because they're impossible to find. Alright, Spyro, let's get out of this. Spyro, another great game from a great studio, but I think it's unfortunate that Insomniac never really managed to profit significantly off of Spyro in the way that whoever it was that published it eventually made Skylanders out of the Spyro franchise, and that ended up being like the real moneymaker for a few years. Insomniac did a lot of great games since then, but I think, yeah, Sony owns them now, I think. Eurocom, huh? So, by this point, Naughty Dog wasn't doing Crash Bandicoot games anymore. Crash Bash, is this like a Mario Party kind of thing? Animated loading screen. Okay. Naughty Dog did a bunch of Crash games, but Naughty Dog never owned the Crash Bandicoot IP because Universal, I guess it was, published it.
3, 2,
oh, no.
go.
I remember this demo. You're trying to pop these guys off the edge, but you gotta sort of break away the edges first. See, I thought I had him there. Oh, I'm mini. There we go. Well, I mean, it's a party game. Party games are almost universally trash. And I'm including Mario Party in that. If you think Mario Party's a good game series, then click off of this video. But, I mean, party games are what they are. Yep, and I win. They're not for actually having fun. I mean, you shouldn't be playing a party game solo. You should be, like, having a... Like, there should be 4 people playing this game. You know, it doesn't look bad, but it definitely doesn't look as good as a Crash game should. And of course, it's like an entirely different genre of game. It's not a platformer, it's some weird... Oh, saved it. I don't know how. And of course, Naughty Dog didn't do this, so I don't know how good of a developer Eurocom was. But Naughty Dog was sort of like top tier as far as technical developers go. Alright, let's get out of this. How do I get out of this? There we go. Nope, that just paused it. Ah, shit. Do I gotta... Do I gotta... Oh, crap. I gotta sit here and watch it. Alright, I'm getting out. Alright, we're back. I had to restart the demo. Cool Borders 2001! Now, it's the fourth Cool Borders game, I think. But it's the third... Oh, there's no demo? That sucks. I mean, maybe there's a demo that's going to appear in a later edition of this disc.
It's Todd Richards. I ride for More Snowboards, and I'm down here getting a motion capture done for PlayStation's Cool Borders 2001.
Alright. Cool Borders is one of those series that, and I made note of this in Cool Borders 2 and 3, the 2 games that I know of that I played for this series, that it was a really like good example of how developers had mastered the PlayStation technology. Because Cool Borders 1 looks essentially like what you'd expect a PlayStation 1 game to look like. And it looked better than something like the Extremes games, Extreme to Extreme and all that. But it was definitely like, everything looks simple and all that. And then Cool Borders 3 came out, and it looked so much better. And I guess 2001 looked even better than that, but I can't really tell from this compressed video. Ultimate Fighting Championship. Oh, damn. Oh, I should have read those instructions. This is probably pretty complicated. There were two versions of this game that came out. There was the PlayStation version and there was the Dreamcast version. Because in 2000, or 99 in fact, the Dreamcast had come out by then. So there were the PlayStation 1 was going head-to-head with the Dreamcast for a short time. This is the last dying days of the PS1 before the PS2 came out. And in 2000, the UFC had been around for 6 years, I guess, by this point. Wasn't really watching it then. I mean, I'd catch a fight here or there, but it was an awkward thing to try and be a fan of because in a lot of places there were no ways to get the pay-per-views. So the only way I'd see them is if my brother had a friend who lived in some state that you would be able to get the pay-per-view, so that he'd tape it and then mail the tape to my brother's friend. My brother's friend would watch it, and then my brother would borrow it, and then I watched it. So, in other words, I didn't see that much of it. It wasn't until years later that UFC started to get much more mainstream that I started watching it. Let's see what Tim Jack, Mark Coleman, I can't play as any of these people. Okay, so we got Tito Ortiz and Frank Shamrock. Okay. And I guess I'm going to be fighting Tito. Now, I don't know how to fight this, so I'm probably going to lose. Oh, like a progress bar for the loading screen. These two actually did fight. Frank Shamrock was the younger and adopted brother of the more famous Ken Shamrock. Frank Shamrock was the 200-pound champion. But everyone thought that Tito was the better fighter. And eventually they ended up fighting. Oh, shit. Oh, wow. I lost quick. I really should have read those directions. Frank beat Tito, though, in real life. I guess they were the two biggest stars that the UFC had at the time, which is why they were the two that you played in the demo here. I don't know what the hell I had to do to not lose there. I mean, he got him with a Kimura and just, I guess, broke his arm real quick. Anyway, moving on. Jarret and LaBonte stock car racing. Alright. Never a fan of stock car racing. But, you know, to each their own. Let's skip over the cinematics. 95% complete. October 2000. Alright. Never a big fan of stock car racing. I just don't really see the appeal of it. Like, let's just go in circles all the time. Plus, stock car racing is a little bit misleading name. I mean, what the hell is stock about any of these things? When you say stock, you typically mean factory stock, not whatever weird-ass definition they're applying here. Alright. I mean, not the best-looking racing game I've seen on the PlayStation, but it's not bad. I mean, I think the environments actually look pretty good, just the car models look a little simplistic. I guess maybe that's why there are so many of them on screen at once. Remember one of the first PlayStation 2 games that I got to play was a NASCAR game on the PS2. And I didn't have the PS2 at the time, but a cousin had it. and I was over his place, and he I guess he had just gotten this, and he was a big in the NASCAR, and we were playing that, and I remember thinking like, yeah, it looked good, but it had the problem with anti-aliasing issues. There's a lot of aliasing on the crowd and all of that. And the early PlayStation 2 had a lot of aliasing issues. Developers didn't quite figure out how to put that into effect. I guess maybe a lot of PS2 developers were PS1 developers, and the PS1 didn't have any anti-aliasing solution. So they weren't used to working with that kind of thing, so they just didn't do it. What place am I in? 8? I'm not pressing the brake, damn it. I will slam on the gas and run all the way through. See, look at that. I lost my fender. Oh, is there a car damage model, I guess? Let's give it a try. I guess not on that car, but on mine, sure. Oh, I'm about to position 5 now. I mean, this isn't bad. I'm not a big racing car fan in general. But when I do like racers, it's usually the more arcadey style. And this, despite being stock car racing, isn't exactly arcadey. I mean, isn't exactly simulation. It's less. It's more. Oh shit! It's less Gran Turismo and a little bit more. Not Road Rash. What the hell am I thinking of? A little bit more Need for Speed. I don't know. I mean, Mario Kart, that's not exactly a simulation racer, but I love that. At least I did. The original Mario Kart, it's a little hard to go back to. Look at the reflection that they have on the back window. I mean, it's a little simplistic. It's really low resolution, and there's like banding on the... Oops! No. No, I don't need any of this. Ah, fuck. Okay, it's over. This interesting effect that they put on that back windshield, like a reflection or like a specular highlight, but really low resolution. A lot of color banding in it, but you know, it was something. It's something they didn't have to put in there, but it gave the game a little bit nicer of a look. Not the kind of thing you saw that often in games back then. What the hell is that supposed to be? Come on now. Incredible Crisis. Oh! Never owned this game, but the demo was something. It's a weird game. Oh, it's a button masher where you're always trying to escape from some emergency situation. It's like just the weirdest shit would happen.
Welcome to
and you just have to get away from it. Not much of a game, and it definitely wouldn't fly as something that you'd pay a full retail price for a new game for nowadays. But you know, back then games were smaller and there was a lot more experimentation on console releases. Alright, let's skip over the cinematic here. You'll get the idea what the game is in a second. Okay, so that iron ball that fell off the statue is now chasing after this guy. And you gotta tap the button to get away from it. Oh, look, the characters are 3D modeled, but the environment isn't. What am I supposed to do to get out of that shit? And he got crushed. Oh, he's a pancake now. Let's try that one more time. Turns red, run with X. Up and down direction to avoid obstacles. Oh, okay. You can't pause the game. Okay, so... Alright, so I gotta... No, that didn't work. Ah, okay, so I got past that, but I don't... Alright. Okay. You get the point, right? And I guess the entire game is just jam full of these insane circumstances that just... Love the voice acting. Insane circumstances that just happen and you always just gotta flee from it. I doubt it's anybody in the world's favorite game, but it's a bit of a unique experience for the day anyway. I mean, I guess it's really not all that much different than the old track and field games, but the visuals of it and the theme. Holy shit! Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. This isn't a demo, I don't think. This is a video, but this was a big freaking deal when this happened, because I remember when this demo, this video came out, I think it was the first time that I had actually seen a PS2 game in motion. Of course, I had seen screenshots and stuff in the magazines and all that, but the internet wasn't what it is now, and I don't think I even had a computer to download videos on. So you would have these magazine covers and on magazine screenshots, and you get an idea what to look for, but until you saw something in motion, you don't really know what it looks like. Then this drops, and I knew Metal Gear Solid looked good from the screenshots, but then this happens, and then you're like, holy shit. Now, it's hard to believe, though, that, I mean, with all the talk about how people thought that maybe Metal Gear Solid 2 in this video and all of that was all just pre-rendered mock-up and it wasn't what the game actually looked like. No, the game looked like this. Metal Gear Solid 2 in its day was an incredible looking game. Perhaps the best the PS2 had to offer. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3 actually looked better than 2. But this got me so pumped. I watched this damn video so many times. So many times. It was insane. Oh man, this getting me pumped to play Metal Gear Solid 2 again. I don't remember the facial expressions changing like that. Because it's all from the tanker mission. They pulled one out on us. They went and they showed nothing but the tanker portions of the game, and only showed Snake, so the whole Raiden thing ended up catching us by surprise. People don't know what I'm talking about. Metal Gear Solid 2, you start playing the game as Solid Snake here, but as the after the first chapter, which was on board this oil tanker, you switched to playing as the character Raiden, a different guy, a younger guy. A lot of people weren't particularly appreciative of that. Like, they're showing like pieces of the gameplay that you wouldn't expect to in this demo, like the lighting effects for the shadows, and you can be spotted by your shadow and all that kind of stuff. And look at this, I mean, it's a little bit of a cheat how they did it, but the real-time lighting effects looked amazing back then. Yeah, you could throw stuff to distract guards. If I had a complaint about Metal Gear Solid 2, aside from it's a little bit of an underwhelming and convoluted story, it's that the gameplay was actually really good, in my opinion. There just wasn't enough of it. I mean, they set up this engine with these way that the enemies search out and you can distract them and all that kind of stuff, and then didn't put you in enough situations to really experience the game. I mean, you would get in the boss battles and all that were fine and stuff, but especially if you knew what you were doing, you'd get from one cutscene to the next, or one boss battle to the next, or whatever, inside of a couple of minutes. So there weren't that many situations where you actually had to play the game like this, or even could. Ocelot. Oh, we're in the Matrix. What the hell does that mean? Huh. Up, first-person view. They added that in Metal Gear Solid 2. Yeah, a lot of these are cinematic camera angles. The game isn't actually played from a lot of the angles that we're looking at here. But we're looking at the real-time graphics of the game. And I think that's what had people all twisted up about it. Because the game did look like this, but from almost none of these camera angles did you actually play the game. So people are like, oh, it was fake. To be fair, nothing that we had seen coming out on the PlayStation 2 looked this good at the time. So, I mean, I guess people doubting it made sense. Plus, I think by 2000, you were starting to see GameCube and Xbox screenshots come out, and they looked better than what the PlayStation 2 we had seen on the PS2 by that point. PS2 was probably the least powerful of those three consoles, but I mean, it was still, especially if developers really took advantage of what it could do, could produce some good lookers. I mean, as good as this game looked on the PS2, Metal Gear Solid 3 looked better, and like God of War 2 looked better, and a lot of games looked better. This is the best version of the Metal Gear Solid theme, in my opinion. This didn't happen in the game. What the hell are you shooting at, Snake? Where the hell did you get that rifle? FAMAS wasn't in Metal Gear Solid 2. It was like an M4 and an AK-74. There's no FAMAS in that, but I guess, I mean, this is well before the game released, so. Okay. Final Fantasy IX. Oh, this is not a demo either, I don't think. Final Fantasy IX was not a game I was in any real way excited for. I was a big fan of 6, 7, and 8. Even, I think I also played 4 by that point. But I was kind of disappointed with what I saw was an awkward art style that I didn't really care for. Of course, I was out of my damn mind. The game was awesome. I talked myself into not being excited for it. So even when it came out, I didn't play it right away. It was like out for a year or so before I finally picked it up. So I know I watched this video, but this did not get me pumped. Having played through 9 within the last few years for the sake of this channel, I can say that it doesn't quite hold up as well as I would have thought it did. Because once I finally did play 9, it was great. But it doesn't quite hold up as well. I mean, art style and all that, I actually do quite appreciate now. But the problem I have with it, though, is the main character, Zidane, is just a little irritating ass. And I don't feel like he's important enough to the story. I mean, his importance comes in later, but you spend a lot of the time not really understanding his role in the story. And then he comes up to prominence, but he's an irritating character. He's sort of like my impression of what a 12-year-old thinks a cool guy is like. And I'm not 12, so why the hell would I appreciate this guy? Driver 2, I don't think this is a demo either. I was a huge fan of the original Driver. In fact, there were 2 camps at the time. There was the Grand Theft Auto camp, and then there was the Driver camp. And, you know, as good as Grand Theft Auto was in its early days for what it was, Driver was just, in my opinion, the better series. Of course, the 2 have swapped positions now. Driver is a load of crap since the PS2 era. And Grand Theft Auto has gone on to be like one of the most popular and profitable series of all time. But Driver at the time was an incredible accomplishment, especially on the PlayStation 1, because it was this large open environment that you drove around, and there was AI cars and all this kind of stuff. Driver was just the shit. Then Driver 2 comes out. Driver 2 actually manages to improve on what the original did, especially from oh my god, the audio got all fucked up. Getting out of the cars, actually having bends in the road instead of 90-degree angles. Driver 2, I mean, I wouldn't have thought that the original Driver was something that could have been done on the PlayStation 1. And then Driver 2 actually managed to be better. I mean, one of the best looking games on the PlayStation 1.
Vasquez will come back for you.
Alright. But I know I've played Driver 2, but it wasn't one that I had bought. So I don't have as much experience with Driver 2. Star Wars Demolition. Is this a video? A lot of videos, not many demos on this. Not a huge Star Wars fan. I do like some of the movies, and some of the games I think are good. Although this doesn't look like one of them. Sort of like just a combat, like vehicular combat game, like a Twisted Metal kind of thing. Of course, by 2000, the kind of fad of vehicular combat games had subsided to an extent. So, this is perhaps a bit late to the party. I don't think I've ever played this. Maybe there was a later demo disc that had this. Definitely never owned this. Pretty sure I've never played it. I mean, it seems like it's Star Wars only in oh, it was from the makers of Vigilante 8. That makes sense. They had their game engine, they had their game, they just stripped out all the Vigilante 8 stuff and put some Star Wars stuff in there. So it's more or less just Vigilante 8 with a Star Wars veneer on it. So, that is, what disc number was this? Was this 45? I don't know what I'm going to do for the animation in the beginning. I guess it's going to be Metal Gear-ish. But, of course, by the time you see this, I would have done the animation, so that's a stupid thing for me to say. Anyway, this is actually one of the more memorable demo discs. If for nothing more than, I mean, none of the games are really striking out to me as being particularly good. I guess Spyro was good, but I didn't play it, really. Cool Borders would have been good. The UFC game was trash. At least the PlayStation version was. Don't care about it. Stock Incredible Crisis was an interesting thing, but of all things, the fucking video for Metal Gear Solid 2 was the most memorable thing about this, and is the reason why this thing stayed in my PlayStation for so long. Apparently it was the only thing that I remember from this, because all the other things were... Well, anyway, Metal Gear Solid 2, it's awesome. You should go play that.